Hello, welcome back to part 6 of my retail store series in Blender. In the last 5 videos, we built the store from 2D drawings, modeled the architecture, placed fixtures, and added mannequins. Today we're going to be adding merchandise. Merchandising isn't always necessary if you just want to show the construction model, but it can make a huge difference when you're making presentations to clients or helping other teams visualize the finished space. There are a couple of different ways of doing this. The first would be using generic products. You can download models of common items like t-shirts, hats, and shoes using the Sketchfab plugin, or using the 3D Warehouse in SketchUp. I like to use a semi-transparent generic white material so that the colors and brands don't distract from the store architecture or the fixtures, but if you want it to be more realistic, you'll just have to take an extra step to texture them. I usually just make one large texture sheet with all the different brand designs and colors. I unwrap the texture using Project from View, and then I just shift the UV map when I want to change the product. One more way is just using a plane with the image projected onto it instead of texturing a mesh. One thing to be careful about if you're using the transparent plane method is having too many overlapping planes. You'll see that there's an outline where the plane is. That's because too many transparent planes in a row. If you want to fix that, you just have to increase the number of transparent bounces, and then that will disappear. The next part is pretty similar to how you would merchandise in real life. Make sure everything's accurately scaled, and you hang things on hanging racks, put folded stacks of clothes on tables, and pair it with shoes and accessories. You can see why I have one image with a lot of different designs because it's easier than switching out individual materials. Instead, I can just shift the UV map onto a different part of the image. This helps with variety because if I want to change the shoe that's on this shelf, I just need to shift the UV map. When you finish putting merchandise on one grouping of fixtures, you can just copy and paste that over, and then do the same for the rest of the fixtures. This can be done using relatively simple modeling commands like G to grab, R to rotate, and switching from top, front, and side views to make sure that things align. And if the colors get too repetitive, you can adjust the product by shifting it on the UV map. I'm just kind of quickly filling up the fixtures with the variety of products so that they don't look empty. I usually approach these projects from the store design side and not the visual merchandising, but luckily there's usually a dedicated team that determines what products go where and can provide guides on where things go. A little bit of copy and paste, and you can fill in all the different fixtures on the floor pretty quickly. Make sure to add these to a new collection, stay organized. I'm just going to call this floor fixture merchandise, and now all that's left is the wall hardware and wall merchandise. This time I'm going to be using the semi-transparent generic merchandise, kind of like ghosted out, and it's going to be made up of apparel like t-shirts and sweaters, and then pants from a front and side view. For accessories, there's like a little bucket hat, a baseball hat, some sunglasses, folded clothes, and then the shoes. The hardware that I'm going to be using is going to come in 2 lengths, a shorter and wider version of a shelf. This is a hang bar. These are another hang bar that have a variety of face outs for hanging things, and a few different versions of angled shoe shelves. I also have a few different sizes of frames for graphics, as well as a mirrored frame. Now I'm going to be putting them onto the wall panels, which I have in line here. So this grouping of 11 is this group here by the doors in the back of the store. And this long stretch of panels is going to be the same as on either side of the store. I'm just going to do it once, then mirror it and copy it over here. You can get as detailed as you want when you're doing merchandise. It could be 100% accurate, or it could be done pretty quickly. Maybe you do a couple variations of a few different panels and then copy and paste, call it a day. I'm going to put some mirrored panels, Alt-D, and then GY to move them back in line with the panel. I think it's easier to work in only 2 dimensions at once, so I usually just lay things out as if I was looking at them in elevation, and then move them back in space to make sure that they're aligned correctly. I actually think these would look nice if they were the full width. Yeah, I think that looks nicer. And then I'm going to put them on the ends, the outsides. Enable my snaps, vertex, edge, and face, as well as edge center. G to grab, B to identify reference point, triangle for the midpoint, X to move horizontally, and snap to the middle point of this panel. So now I know it's centered. Same thing as this, Shift C to go in a wireframe, G, B, X, snap to the middle point, and now this is centered. That leaves me with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 panels that I have to do. So what I think I'm going to do is a grouping of 3 panels, 3 panels. On the outside are going to be shoes, and the inside is going to be apparel. I'm going to grab my hardware, slide it over, make sure they align with the openings, and then slide them back so that they're inside the panels. I think what I'm going to do is a series of hang bars with shoes on this side, and then a bottom row of shelves for accessories like hats. And then on this side, I'm going to do apparel on a hang bar, face outs, and then hang bars with pants below it. And then repeat these 3 bays over here. I'm going to hide this so I don't accidentally select it, copy these over so that I can start deleting things. I don't need the face outs over here, X to delete. I'm going to shift this angled shelf down to the bottom one, isolate, pull this down here, and then for now I'm just not going to use this one. I'm just going to delete it. Probably do 1, 2, 3, 4 shoe shells. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'm going to align it over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to copy these, Alt D vertically, to align closely with the top of the mirror. Trying to equally space these a little bit more. Then I'm going to grab my shoes. I'm only going to use one shoe. And then I'm going to need 2 different orientations, one facing forward on this angled shelf and another facing sideways on this angled shelf. So I'm going to rotate this to fit here, shift right click, shift 3D, rotate it along the 3D axis, and then just slightly reposition it. Alt D to copy over, Shift R, Shift R. Select all 4 of these, Alt D, Shift R, GZ, Alt D, Shift R, Shift R. So now I have a shoe wall. I'm going to put some accessories on the shelf below. Can't really see them, but that's kind of the point. You don't want these to be so distracting. I'm actually going to grab this visual and replace these 4 shoes that are in the middle. H to hide, box select these, X to delete, Alt H to unhide, and then I'm going to hang this right where those 4 shoes used to be. And I think I'm going to actually do another row of shelves down here. Alt D. So now I have 2 rows of shelves and a presentation of shoes with a visual. I'm going to grab these 3 folded stacks of clothing to put down here, make it 4 actually. Just going to align them with this. Alt D to make them a little bit taller. 7 to go in the plan view. GY to put them above the shelf. So now I'm going to copy these across over here. My box select all those. Alt D and align it on this side. Now the center I'm going to do t-shirt, sweater, t-shirt, and then pants below. I'm not going to need this shoe shelf. I'm just going to use a single face out, not this waterfall one. GX. I'm going to center one of these on each panel. And then I'm going to pull this up to align up here, GZ. I'm going to grab these t-shirts, pants, and place the t-shirt on this face out, place the sweater on this face out, and another t-shirt on this face out. 7 to go in the top view, and then put them back so that they hang on the face outs. And there's never just one, so Alt D, Y, I'm going to just pull a couple of them. I'm going to pull this hang bar up to align with this one, GZ, and this is where I'm going to hang pants on. I'm going to rotate these 90 degrees and then position them so that they hang on this hang bar. Drag out a few copies and then delete this shelf. Copy some more folded stuff below. Looks like something's missing here, so I'm just going to put another little visual there. Maybe like a shelf sign or something. And copy one over here. Now this wall is pretty much done. So this wall that I just did was 11 panels wide. And this wall is 29 panels. So I could do 11 on each side. That's 22. I'd have 7 more. So that could be 2 on the outside and 3 in the inside. So that's how I'm going to lay out my wall. I'm going to grab all of these except for the panels. Alt D, I'm going to copy this exact thing. Align it so that there's 2 panels over here. Align this so that there's 2 panels over here. And turn off my notes now. Move my panels back so that you can actually see it. So I just need to fill up 2 on the ends and 3 in the middle. To keep this alternating rhythm, I'm just going to do another apparel bay. So grab all these 3 and copy them into the center. Just to keep it symmetrical, I'm also going to do apparel on the ends, but I'm going to double up the t-shirt bay. I'm going to grab this bay, Alt D, create a copy, and create another copy. And then duplicate this all the way on this side too. So this is 3D modeling, like I had to pull things forward and backwards and align them top down and things like that, but I was pretty much working in 2 dimensions the entire time. I just personally find that easier than, working fully in a 3D space. and then trying to model and being distracted by all the other things in the scene. Anyways, now that this is done, I can grab this, just the merchandise, copy it over, and then align it with this side. And then this long stretch, I'm going to copy it and paste it here. 3 to go to the side view, but I'm actually looking at the back side. 9 to flip that, then align this over here, and then align it and plan. So now this wall is merchandised, and this wall is merchandised. I just need to copy this over to this wall. Alt-D. So now the store is pretty much fully modeled and fully merchandised. In the next video, I'm going to show you some tips and tricks to setting up cameras and rendering views in the space. I hope you found this video useful. If you're interested in seeing the entire process of how I've built this store, please check out the playlist linked in the video description below. Please like, subscribe, or leave a comment or question if you'd like to see more 3D content. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.